Donald Trump made peace between Israel and Hamas. Now, the violence is turning inward, with Gaza on the brink of civil war. Welcome to America Uncovered. I'm Chris Chappell. President Trump is back in the U.S. following the Gaza Peace Summit. And oh, what a time it was. We got to see him arm wrestle French President Emmanuel Macron. Better luck next time, mon président. He clowned on British Prime Minister Keir Starmer, inviting him up to the microphone like he'd be given the chance to speak, only to send him slinking back to the line. I'd almost feel bad for the guy if his government wasn't arresting 30 people a day over mean tweets. But wait, there's more. In Israel, Trump was greeted by giant billboards comparing him to the ancient Persian king Cyrus the Great, while Egyptian President El-Sisi awarded Trump's peace efforts with Egypt's highest honor, the Order of the Nile, which I can only assume makes Trump the new king of Egypt, thus fulfilling the prophecy. So good times had by all. Although, there was something quite disturbing that happened, something I don't even want to talk about. U.S. Ambassador to Israel and weirdo Mike Huckabee performed his own version of Sweet Home Alabama.
Torah scrolls keep on turning. Sweet Home Yerushalayim. Yeah!
Ugh. Let's move on to something a little less terrifying. Mass killings in Gaza. In the wake of the ceasefire, Hamas emerged from its tunnels and has begun a wave of executions against groups they deem criminals and collaborators. That's right, the war with Israel is over, but the war against other Gazans is just getting started. So, who are these groups and why is this happening? See, one thing you should know about Gaza is that despite its small size, it's incredibly diverse. While most Gazans identify as Palestinian Arabs, many see themselves as Egyptian, Bedouin, or even Turkish. This is due to the fact that Gaza used to be part of the Ottoman Empire, which was home to all sorts of people. Add to this the fact that most Gazans are either refugees or the descendants of refugees from different parts of what is today Israel. And then you have all the political and religious divides. Supporters of Hamas, supporters of Fatah over in the West Banks, religious conservatives, liberals, Christians. It's a mess. As a result, many Gazans group themselves around extended family networks. These are the clans of Gaza. These clans exert considerable influence, and many actively oppose Hamas rule. They're well-armed, often fielding hundreds of soldiers. They act as power brokers and control neighborhoods all over Gaza. And yes, many do control mafia-style rackets. I'm talking about looting aid convoys, extortion, drugs, and kidnapping. Among these armed groups, you have the Abu Shabaab clan, otherwise known as the Popular Forces or Anti-Terror Service, led by a former drug trafficker. You also have the Domush clan, who have their own criminal enterprises. And then there's the Al-Mujahideen clan, the Halis, the Astal, and others. These groups are massively destabilizing for Gaza. I mean, think about the Italian mob here in America and how much trouble they caused during the mafia's so-called golden age. Think the 1950s and 60s, back when they basically controlled New York, Chicago, and Las Vegas. According to the FBI, even at its height, the mafia never had more than 5,000 official members. And these family militias in Gaza are way more concentrated. Let's run some math. So, in 1960, the Costa Nostra had around 5,000 made men, and beneath them you had 20 to 25,000 associates. These guys weren't officially in the mafia, but they worked on behalf of the guys who were. America at that time had a population of around 180 million, so that comes out to one gangster per 6,000 people. Now compare that to Gaza. A conservative estimate suggests that these clans have around 700 dedicated fighters. Like the made men, they have their own little associates, maybe 2,500 to 3,000 of them. But Gaza only has around 2.1 million residents, so the ratio there is one militant per 600 people. So imagine if you took every mafioso in the country, increased their numbers by an order of magnitude, and squeezed them all into an area the size of Detroit. Now, give them all RPGs. That would be pandemonium. An army that size wouldn't just be relegated to ripping off your union's pension fund or running backroom card games. They could knock over the government if they wanted. But I digress. Since taking over the Gaza Strip in 2007, Hamas has kept these clans down using violence and fear. But during the war with Israel, Hamas was forced underground, and their control over the Strip was shattered. That's a problem. Now, don't shoot me for saying this, but as weird as it sounds, for this peace deal to work, the world needs Hamas, at least for now. In order to negotiate peace and rebuilding, you need someone to negotiate with. And that's nearly impossible if Gaza is split up between dozens of heavily armed factions. Of course, Trump made it clear that Hamas will have to disarm eventually.
And if they don't disarm, we will disarm them. And it'll happen quickly and perhaps violently.
But maybe not right now. In fact, Trump has given Hamas the green light to take out their rivals.
I'm sure you've seen reports of Hamas rearming, instituting themselves as a Palestinian police force, shooting rivals. What is your message to
They are
Hamas?
standing because they do want to stop the problems, and they've been open about it, and we gave them approval for a period of time, and we are having them watch that there's not going to be big crime or some of the problems that you have when you have areas like this that have been literally demolished.
And Hamas has wasted no time. So far, at least 32 clan members have been killed, along with 6 Hamas fighters and dozens wounded. Additionally, another 60 Klansmen have been arrested since the fighting began. It's a bleak picture. But how does Trump feel about it? Well, he's fine with it.
You know, they did take out a couple of gangs that were very bad, very, very bad gangs, and they did take them out, and they killed a number of gang members. And that didn't bother me much, to be honest with you. That's okay.
It sounds harsh, maybe a little callous, but hey, if it means we get the Trump Gaza Hotel and Casino, that's a sacrifice he's willing to make. I need to rewatch Casino, maybe a double feature with The Hurt Locker. Oh, and I should probably mention one other wrinkle to the story. Do you know who's supporting all these clans in their fight against Hamas? You guessed it, Israel. The way Netanyahu sees it. If and when Hamas eventually steps down, a united Gaza still poses a threat. So to keep another October 7th attack from happening, it's better to keep Gaza weak and divided. That's why Trump had to heap so much pressure on Bibi, who apparently wasn't too happy with the peace deal. According to Axios, he told Trump that this is nothing to celebrate and that it doesn't mean anything. To which Trump fired back, "I don't know why you're always so negative. This is a win. Take it." Boy, I can only imagine how the rest of that conversation went when Trump learned Israel was funding the Klan. Like I said, it's a mess. A choice between bad options and more bad options. Keeping Gaza together long enough to rebuild like Trump wants is a huge ask, especially if we ever want to get that Trump Gaza Hotel and Casino. But what do you think? What would your solution be? Leave your comments below. I do read as many as I can. And please consider supporting America Uncovered at our new website, americauncovered.tv. We can't keep making the show without your help. And while you're at it, check out this video I did about what makes someone a real American. Once again, I'm Chris Chappell. See you at the craps table.